Sure, sure. Well, given this extensive history of filmmaking, what do you find at this stage of your life to be your favorite part of it, and what keeps you going to make the next one?
I always say being on set is the most fun. It definitely is. Like, I have so much fun on set, I could do that every single day. I do love the writing process probably just as much. Editing is more of a struggle for me, like to get motivated to do it. I think especially when I'm all done shooting and you got all that footage and you're kind of coming off that high of being on set and you got to kind of
Yeah.
slog through all we don't usually slate it or even make notes of like what the good takes are, just assume the last one is. But I do like to go back and look through the other takes. It just is such a drag out process. But when I actually sit down, I start cutting it, then I have fun. And then I have to usually break myself away because I have other stuff to do. When I get to the tail end of editing, especially when I start adding the sound effects and the music and it really starts to come together, then it's a lot of fun. But I think writing and shooting definitely go hand in hand. The other aspects or elements of pre-production, like casting and rehearsals and well, not rehearsals, but casting and location scouting and building props and stuff like that, I don't enjoy much. They can be fun, but they just take me away from trying to focus on the production. I still wear a
Yeah.
lot of hats, though. With the shorts, I did hire more outside talent. I did look for more help from people, so it did alleviate some of the work. But I still, wear those hats at least partially, and some hats fully, and it does cut into your focus on the direction, getting the best shots and the best acting. So those things will suffer. And on that note, those shorts were very expensive to shoot in comparison. Some of them were expensive to some of my earliest features. Like
Oh,
dollars or $4,000 to shoot. Not counting equipment. If I bought equipment,
it's a
then
sunk
spread it
cost
across.
at that point, right? It's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
but like one short that I didn't even finish because the special effects guy kind of screwed me on it.
Oh no.
Counting the equipment, I was over like 10,000 on that, but the actual cost of doing it was probably good 3, 4 thousand bucks. And, bringing in outside talent, it was a proof of concept. A lot of them I go into that with that idea that it's a proof of concept. So, and I do know what we shot. There was some really good stuff, but there was some stuff where I was like, oh yeah, I need to fix that. It was a shortened version of a script written that I
Yeah.
hadn't shot yet. And I did go back and redid the script after that and made it a lot better because we did go out there and shoot it and I could view the footage and be like, oh yeah, that's a bit too soap opera-ish. I need to trim that down. I need to change that or whatever.
Yeah. So it sounds to me like this whole time frame, editing has been one of the hats that you've worn pretty much the whole time. And
Yeah,
I,
I've cut all my stuff for sure. I did have a company do the color grade on two of the shorts just to reach out and you know get a little taste of that experience. I can do okay with color grading. Something bigger, that had more that uh, uh, there was more stakes involved, like like a feature that I expected to put into feature, into theaters or something like that. I would have a professional company do it because even though I can do okay with it, I'm not always like I can look at it and be like, is that color balance? I'm looking at the scopes. I don't know,
yeah,
and I tend to just
it's
want
less
to trust
about
my
pacing
eye.
and more
Yeah.
about the refinement, like the finish. Yeah.
Probably, yeah. Though I do. I know some of my movies, like how Shark. Some people, it's too long, and I forget what it is. It's under an hour and 50 minutes. But I was like, yeah, I know I could cut this stuff up, but I don't want to. This is like my director's cut, so I want it all
Sure.
in there. Where I think now I'm a little more in tune with cutting it down, at least with the shorts I've done, and making it, move faster and less worried about being the auteur.
Sure.